I used to think having a period simply meant bleeding 1 month out of the week and that was it, but over time I started to witness reoccurring fluctuations in my mood and went down this wormhole into the different seasons of your menstrual cycle and became aware of the different hormone fluctuations throughout the month, even when you're not bleeding. Bringing awareness to this helps you work with your body, helps you access your full potential, and really gain the power and wisdom from the entirety of your cycle. Thank you so much for being here and joining me today, taking the time to learn how to work with your body most efficiently. It has really changed my life doing these practices for the past few years, and I recently started seed cycling, so I'll be talking about how to do that in this video. But basically, all throughout the month, your levels of progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone are fluctuating, and that causes different moods, energy levels, and eating certain things, doing certain practices can help to ease the intensity of these different hormone fluctuations. So let's just kind of dive right into it because there's a lot to unpack, and I've been vlogging my cycles for the past 3 months. Hopping in here to let you know that I made infographics of all this information, and they'll be on my Instagram at Hitomi for you to screenshot so you don't have to take any notes throughout this video. Let's start with menstruation, which is also known as the winter season. The archetype for this is the crone, the visionary / wise woman, and your hormone levels in this phase, your estrogen is at an all-time low. It's a great time to spend alone. Your auric field is said to be 3 times its size, so you can pick up on subtleties. You're highly intuitive, and not only is it a good time to be alone so that you're not kind of picking up on other people's energies, but so that you can really sit with the gift and medicine of your intuition and what it's trying to bring to you. I personally have incredible downloads, moments of clarity on past experiences, past lovers or relationships during this time, and it's a really good time to release and do different rituals. I also think that it can be really powerful to spend time with women who are also deeply feeling, who help to support that container of you in all of your full spectrum embodiment, which is hopefully all of your sisters and friends. But I do lately love being around my women when I'm bleeding because they're a safe container for me to be in the depths of whatever's going on. Your iron levels are going to be lower during this time, which can cause a little bit of mental fogginess or fatigue. So eating as many iron-rich foods as possible, whatever that looks like for your diet. I eat a lot of lentils while I'm bleeding, and for protein, I'll also eat black beans and tofu. And dark leafy greens are also really nice to eat when you're bleeding because they're rich in magnesium, which can help relieve PMS symptoms, reduce period pains, and improve digestion. So kale, beets, mushrooms, sea veggies, dulse, seaweed, hardy greens, root veggies, pretty much just warming foods focusing on magnesium, iron, omega-3s, B vitamins, and just extra hydration. I love drinking coconut water on my moon, so if you can, that's an incredible option. And the seeds for this part of the cycle that you should be eating are pumpkin and flax seeds, eating about a tablespoon of these a day. Definitely in the winter, I don't feel like being perceived. I was really craving donuts, so I made these chocolate ones that are vegan and gluten-free. I'll leave the recipe that I followed down below by the Minimalist Baker, and I'm really excited. I love baking. I took my skirt off. We're just full cozy mode now. Okay, this is how the donuts turned out. All of my topping ideas tasted really whack. I don't know who I thought I was, but we just have some classic coconut flakes, cinnamon, and salt, and some vegan marshmallows. And I had 1.5 of these, and they're so rich and decadent that I don't want another single bite, so. I really just didn't want to be alone yesterday. Even though I knew I needed alone time, I just felt scared of it and sad and anxious about it. And so I had a sleepover, and today I felt better, and then those feelings kind of crept up on me again. A lot of Sundays growing up when I would spend the weekend at my friends' houses would feel so sad because I knew that I had to leave. Envy that my friends had these families that actually really cared about where they were all the time and had dinners together and got along well and always had food in the fridge. I would feel jealous that I had to leave that space and my friends just got to always be there. I would feel embarrassed about the way that my house was or how chaotic things were. There was just always evidence of it, you know, like getting sent on trips with friends and not having anything prepared or not having any money with me or having underwear with literal holes in it, you know, and it was always kind of embarrassing. I felt embarrassed about myself and then the shame. And then I also felt slight relief that it was like, no more pretending that this is who I am or the kind of space that I come from. And it's so wild because I was just a teenager, a tween, and I already felt all of this otherness that no one taught me to feel. It was just like so subtle, the way that people would be like, oh, your mom does this, your mom doesn't do this for you, or just, I don't know, there's so many little, it was like micro othering that would take place. More than that, it was just this feeling that the party's over and now I have to go back to reality. And I think that that still kicks in for me. Like, this is the exact feeling that I would feel when I was younger, and it's so heavy. Sometimes they're really light, but usually every moon there's something that needs to be worked through, whether that's like past lover stuff or sexual trauma or family childhood wounds or worthiness stories. Something usually comes up and is felt very deeply for me to just reflect upon and move through and release or even just talk about. And this time it's definitely just that feeling of home. I have so many stories and associations about what home is and feels like, and I'm just still constantly rewriting it. Like, this human experience is just too much. There's too much going on all the time, and it's weird to pretend that things are okay sometimes, but I want to feel what I'm feeling and be present with myself and not just go to a place where I feel good and I don't have to talk about my feelings. I just need to feel them and process them. So I'm going to journal and be alone with myself. So far this moon, I'm feeling so good in my body. I'm feeling sensual and sexy, and I just danced for like 30 minutes and I'm sweating, and I feel a lot of reclamation this moon cycle, mostly because I'm actually having a lot of flashbacks to when different people took advantage of me or used my body, and how willingly I feel like I let my body be home for other people, and how infrequently I allowed my body to be home for myself and a safe space for myself without resentment and self-hate. I'm reminding myself that this body is my own, because I do often disassociate from it. I don't fully identify with this physical form, with beauty, with being ugly. I think that I'm beautiful and ugly and everything in between, and I don't take it too seriously, especially when people compliment my physical form. It doesn't mean that much to me, but I feel like I've taken so much space. That's the little light code from this bleed, is keep reminding yourself that all of this is yours, and it's constantly up to you whether or not you want to share parts of it, whether or not you want to hug someone. Feeling so touched by life. I'm feeling like this life is so grand in all of the spectrum of emotion, and I'm honestly not feeling heavy. I just feel everything in a really beautiful way right now. And the first month that I was filming this video, I felt very heavy, and I think that I was kind of in a little depression bubble. I did start working with a therapist, and I haven't felt that low since then, which is really beautiful. I'm really grateful for that. Moving on to the follicular phase, also known as the spring. The archetypes for this are the goddess or the maiden. This lasts around 7 to 10 days. Estrogen is rising here all throughout this second week, and your mood, energy, and patience can continue to increase as well, making you more open to new experiences and socializing. Uncomfortable activities like going to the dentist, getting flu shots will hurt less this week than any other week of your cycle, so it could be a great time to go to the dentist, and arguably the worst time may be when you're bleeding. This is a great time to make plans, visualize, have meetings, make decisions, just curate your life. Your mind is sharp right now because estrogen is high, and it's a great time to get things done, to follow through with creative visions and pursuits, and kind of cultivate all of the wisdom that you maybe got from the winter of your bleed and bring it into the spring. Plant those seeds so that they blossom. You now have the energy to maybe bring certain projects and visions into fruition. And this is a great time to work out. You have more energy. Your body is going to build and maintain that muscle easier right now. Doing things like high intensity interval training, weightlifting, just intense workouts is perfect for this time. You tend to be a little bit less hungry during this phase due to rising estrogen and its slight appetite suppressing effect. So eating foods that will metabolize estrogen will be helpful. Focus on sprouted and fermented foods like broccoli sprouts, kimchi, sauerkraut, healthy fats, vitamin C loaded foods. And yes, it's just pumpkin and flaxseed for this part of your cycle as well. Basically, the first half of your cycle is just pumpkin and flaxseed, and the second half is sesame seed and sunflower seed. So seed cycling is very straightforward and simple. The follicular phase / the springtime is my favorite part of my cycle. I just really feel charged up and full and overflowing and able to pour love into the people around me, into my creative pursuits, my business. It just feels like a lot of free-flowing energy, and I wish that I always felt that way.
Tell me, creature in the night, is the child made of clay? Does he whisper out of sight in the
I'm pretty sure every single cup that I own was used. Last night I just finished cleaning everything up. It was the sweetest. I don't eat hot sauce or spicy things when I'm bleeding because it is way too intense for me to be digesting that spice and also releasing that much blood every day. It's painful. But guess who's on day 7, and I just made love this morning, and I'm eating some tofu scramble. I put spinach and tomato and everything but the bagel seasoning, which has sesame seeds, which is good for me, and I put a lot of hot sauce. My most natural resting place, what I actually wear on a day-to-day basis, is just these animal t-shirts. This is what I live in, and no pants, of course. And for any of my introverts out there, I don't know if you ever get really hard on yourself about needing time alone, but then you go out and socialize and spend time in community and do kind of a good job, and you're social and present and the energy's flowing and you feel really good about it, and it kind of re-inspires your hope in socializing and in just being a normal human and not just being an awkward bean all the time. Last night really felt like that for me because when the party was starting and people were arriving, I was like, oh gosh, what am I getting myself into? But then I just was present, resting in love, and I felt how much I just love to love people and love on people, and it was just so nice connecting on a soul level and just being with community that is so aligned with my heart and my value system and belief system. It's like, that's kind of just a recipe for success, and I had a really good time. And it's, you know, scary to be seen with so much love when you haven't been for most of your life. You really got to recondition that stuff, and it never fails to amaze me how held and seen I can be for who I am. And something that's really coming through for me lately is to not pretend anything. I'm actually kind of a very calm person, and I have a lot of people in my life who are in their bliss in a way that's like up here, and it's just like yay, and hyping each other up and like all in their hype stoke shit. And sometimes I'm more like down here, like that's amazing, oh I'm so grateful. And I feel things like this is me being super blissed out and in joy and love, is like, ah, wow, that's incredible. And some people it's like up here, and I've just been not needing to match other people's energy if it doesn't feel natural to me. And I think that sometimes I get social anxiety thinking that I have to perform something for someone else, even joy or bliss or excitement. It's like I can just embody that in my own way because I do genuinely feel those things, but sometimes it's a lot more calm and chill than some of the people in my life that I love. And it's just you being who you naturally are is actually medicine. And I feel like I'm very watery, and I have a lot of people in my life who are fiery, and we just balance each other out, and it's amazing. And I just haven't been forcing connections lately. If it's not flowing, then maybe it's just not our time and we both have other shit going on. I'm not attached. It's neutral information. I'm like really feeling at ease with not feeling guilt if I end up not having time in my schedule to prioritize a friend or they don't have time for me. I'm like, let's just connect whenever it flows. And also maybe we're just not meant to support each other in this season for the next few weeks as we're both fully immersed in different things in our life. And I also haven't been performing or forcing any kind of moment to moment energy. I'm not going to pretend to be happy. I'm always going to show up as my full self and whatever is naturally rising. I'm just making space for all of it. And it feels like deeper intimacy, not like I've been faking or performing anything up until this point, but it just feels even more subtle, even with like the way that I respond to people or my tone of voice. Like I don't feel the need to be like, hi, how are you? Oh my goodness. I'm just like, hey, how are you? And speaking from my heart and not how I think that I should be coming off, I guess. I don't know if this is cringy or makes any sense, but it's basically like just resting in the way that my voice wants to speak and be shared, and how that feels like medicine and like true connection with people because it's my most authentic resting place. The follicular phase, woo! I just discovered these organic sprouted spirulina sesame bars that are naturally sweetened with dates and coconut and banana. So let's see how they taste. Okay, I actually really like it. And I personally love the taste of sesame seeds. Next is summer ovulation, and the archetype for this is the mother/healer. This lasts for about 2 to 4 days. And here, estrogen peaks, testosterone is high. It tends to make you more impulsive, daring, and competitive. Your libido is high all during your week 2, but when testosterone spikes, it boosts your libido even higher. And this is a great time to continue pouring your energy and motivation into meaningful projects, sharing your passions, being super embodied in your sensuality. I feel like a seductress the most. When I feel embodied in my sensuality, it's not for anyone else. It's not to be looked at or even with the intent of having sex. It's just about exuding that energy that's flowing through me because it feels good, because it's ripe and juicy. Some foods to focus on eating are high fiber foods, leafy greens, magnesium rich foods. I personally love eating dark chocolate for this. B vitamins, cruciferous veggies, and whole grains. And of course, there's sesame and sunflower seeds. When you're ovulating, it's really easy to tell if you see a clear film of discharge in your underwear or you stick your fingers inside of yourself and there's this saran wrap clear mucus, that's cervical fluid. And lastly, we'll head into the luteal phase, also known as autumn, or the wild woman slash priestess archetype. This lasts for around 10 to 14 days, and in the first half, estrogen plunges back down, which can cause PMS-like symptoms, but then it rises again. Progesterone rises, which can cause you to be more sensitive or emotional. It can have you craving comfort foods that are high in fat and calories. Your appetite is greater and you're hungrier more often. Fasting or skipping meals will not be good at this time. And another side effect of progesterone is that it can trigger constipation because it slows down digestion as a way to help your body absorb more nutrients from food in case you did get pregnant. And it prompts water retention, which can cause temporary bloating, but you're also burning up to 30% more fat when you exercise thanks to the combination of estrogen and progesterone. So that makes your body more efficient at using fat for fuel. But descending estrogen can trigger cravings for carbohydrate-rich foods such as sweets, pasta, and bread. As estrogen levels drop, it drags down levels of mood-moderating serotonin in the brain, and carbohydrates help to replenish it, so your body pushes you to eat more of them. Overall, once again, you're gonna wanna eat some sesame seeds and sunflower seeds, foods that are rich in iron, zinc, complex carbs, healthy fats, leafy greens, magnesium, and just grounding foods like sweet potato, pumpkin. And this is a great time to prepare for winter, the winter of your menstruation. So cleaning out your house, finishing projects, organizing things, having your last few meetings or last dinner party of the month as you get ready to bleed once again. And definitely not the best time to do super intense workouts, but maybe focus on doing low impact workouts and cardio. So you go through all the seasons, all these different archetypes if you want to subscribe to that. I don't really use the archetypes that much because I know what my hormones are doing. I know how to kind of plan and show up for myself a little bit better, and it just helps me trace back why I could be feeling certain ways and how to best show up for myself. And that is really helpful, but I don't kind of force myself to feel the ways that these seasons suggest. So just putting that out there. I cherish you so much. Thank you for diving deep with me, and I will see you in a video soon. Bye!